and welcome to TotoTCG. You are here with me, Matthew, and we are back here with another Pokemon video on the channel. So in today's video we're going to be checking out another new GX from Double Blaze. So we've already checked out all three of the tag teams, which means we're complete now with the tag teams. We've done every single one that we will be having in Unbroken Bonds, which is great, which is really, really cool. There's some of them which I think are definitely standing out a lot more to me than others. But this is a pretty interesting one. Again, another one that I think I'm going to be very, very hyped for. It's already seeing some play as well and some sort of development, which is very, very cool. And I do like the card. I think it looks really cool, and the artwork, I think the full art is very, very nice indeed. But what card are we talking about in particular? Well, we are talking Honchkrow GX. Oh yeah. So we are getting a Honchkrow GX, which of course does evolve from Murkrow, and I'll be showing you that card in a second. So let's have a quick look at everything here. Of course, it is a dark type with a HP of 210, which I guess isn't bad. And it is a stage 1 Pokemon, so that's not bad either. There's several things there you might be able to take from the picture. I mean, number one, the picture itself does look absolutely amazing. I'm still trying to get myself a really good Honchkrow in Pokemon Go. I've got several Murkrows, but I really want to try and either get another shiny or a really, really good IV version of a Murkrow to evolve into a Honchkrow, because I really like this thing a lot. So, off the subject of Pokemon Go, let's dive into, of course, its pre-evolution, which would have been Murkrow. And let's have a little look at that. So there is the card right there. And let's just have a little look at this. Of course, it is Murkrow. It is a dark Pokemon. HP of 70, which isn't bad, to be honest. It could be like 50, but no, they've given it 70, which is very nice. It's a basic Pokemon, of course, because it is going to evolve up into the Honchkrow. So, the attack. So, 1 dark for surprise. Choose 1 card from your opponent's hand without looking. Look at the card you chose. Oh, then shuffle your opponent's deck. Your opponent shuffles that card into their deck. Right, okay. So, basically, you say, surprise, they fan their cards out, and you go, this one. So, you pick that one up and go, there you go, that goes back into the deck. So, an interesting one. A very interesting, possibly like a turn 2 if you can't evolve this. Then you can obviously just surprise and be like, let's hope we can maybe get a supporter, maybe a judge, a Guzma, something like that. Get that gone, and happy days, at least that is out of the way for now. They might have even used a Lele to possibly get that supporter. In terms of the artwork, I really like it. I think it is a very, very cool artwork there. I like the houses in the background. I like how it's sort of just looking, it's sort of flying along. It just looks really cool. Really cool. And a retreat of 1 isn't bad either. And of course it is weak to lightning, which I guess is a little bit annoying, but a resistance to fighting. So there is that. So it's not like a Zoroark, because I think Zoroark is weak to fighting, which is why it's mostly sometimes paired with Lycanroc, so you've got those 2 weakness hitting Pokemon there. So the fact that it's weak to lightning is a little bit annoying, because obviously we've got like Zapdos Jirachi, we've got Pikachu Zekrom, so those type of decks very big at the moment. So it might be worth possibly running a few weakness policies just to counter that a little bit, because you really don't want to be getting hit for weakness on this thing. So let's have a little look at the different artworks here. Of course, we only have the full art and Rainbow Rare to have a look at. So the full art, boom! Look at that. That is such an awesome card. It takes up a nice proportion of the overall card. The color scheme works very, very well. It just looks so cool. Really, really does look amazing. I like how you can just see that red just by the middle attack there. I guess that's sort of the tail area, or at least the back end of it. Maybe it's not a foot, but it's something coming off the back of it. It's probably a tail. We'll go with a tail, because I think the wing there is the things that are pointing up like fingers. That's the sort of end of the wing, and then that red bit is the tail. So I do like it. Very, very interesting looking card. And of course we've also got the Rainbow Rare. Exactly same artwork, but it's a Rainbow Rare. A very interesting look in the background. It almost looks as a bit like either eggs or scales in the background there. I don't know if you can see that. but it's sort of like overlapping scales. It's quite interesting, like scales from fish, not like counter scales. So like fish scales. So yeah, very, very cool. I like it a lot, and I really cannot wait to get this because I think the attacks and the ability are pretty cool. Now, speaking of, let's have a look at that. So, the ability is called Ruler of the Night. So what does this do in particular? As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon tools, special energy, or stadium cards from their hand during their next turn. Great. This is brilliant. So I don't think you'd have to announce the ability. It's just literally, if this is in play, if this is in your active, your opponent can't put tools on the Pokemon, they can't put special energy such as DCE, and they can't put stadium cards down, and all of those things at the moment are going to be seeing play. If you go against a Zoroark, boom, that thing is going to get shut down tremendously. No choice bands going on, no DCE, no devoured field, that sort of stuff is going to get very, very annoying quite quickly, which is very, very cool. I like this. I think it's going to be a very, very good like sort of mill deck. Having this, and maybe a few other cards as well to stop some other bits and pieces. There's an Alolan Muck which stops in abilities, so that could be really cool. There's an Alolan Muck that came out in, what was it called? Team Up, there it is. And I believe that allowed you to sort of shuffle 6 cards from your opponent's hand, and I think there was like, if there's any trainers, discard them. It was something like that. There's something else there to add on to this to really mill your opponent quite quickly, and that could get really frustrating. And I think it would be really quite annoying to go against this, which is why I'd sort of want to play it, to try and get this thing to work. And like I said, it's already seeing people like messing around with it and checking out, seeing how it could work. So I am looking forward to seeing how this thing will fare. So first things first, the ability, great, love it. Moving on to the attack, we have got Featherstorm for 1 dark and a double colourless. So we got 90 damage, and this attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Bench Pokemon GX or EX. So evidently if you've got like a Lele or something, then you can do that. Although if you are doing that, Acerola is going to pick that up. But if you've got like a Pikachu Zekrom type thing going on, then hitting that damage could be pretty cool indeed. It does say 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so it doesn't say to any bench Pokemon, because in that way you could just put probably 60 on one thing, but in this case it's going to have to be a split 30, which is really good because obviously you can hit those numbers then. 90 damage isn't a lot, but if people are playing basics like a Zapdos Jirachi deck, then happy days, you're going to be really getting some big numbers there pretty quickly, and possibly some pretty early KOs. As well as being super annoying, which is always a bonus. And then the last attack we have is called Unfair GX, and it literally is just so unfair. It's a double colourless. Your opponent reveals their hand, and you discard 2 cards from it. I mean, that is great. It's just 2 cards, admittedly, but 2 cards is great. Especially if they may be playing a Zoroark and they've got a hand fanned out, and you think, look, what are they going to do here that could really, really annoy me? I could get some Guzmas gone. I could get some hand draws done. It's entirely up to you. But I do like it. I think that's a really good GX, and if this is going to be the only GX in a deck, it's going to be great. I love it. I love this card. It's definitely up there as one of my favourites, and one that I'll want to be getting the full set of very quickly to play with, because it just looks great. Really, really does. So yeah. There it is. So let's finish this card off. Of course, when it is knocked out, the GX, then your opponent's going to be taking 2 prize cards, which, yeah, it is a little bit annoying, but I think it's annoying itself that ability is there. I mean, I just love it. I think it's just so cool how you could just sort of just tank everything. It's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. Weakness to lightning, resistance to fighting, which I guess is pretty cool with, like, anything with fighting, so Buzzwole. Is there anything else? There's a Machamp and Marshadow GX coming out in the tag team, which will be coming out. There's also, of course, Lycanrocs. They're still going. So, yeah, that's probably going to work quite nicely in some favours, which is always good. and retreat of 2, which, I mean, isn't bad. You know, if you're going to put DCE on this thing, happy days. Or if you're going to maybe put 2 dark on there, you'd probably be able to get the dark back pretty quickly, but I like it. I just really do like this card. I think it's really fun. It's going to be very interesting to possibly go against this thing. And if I can get this during pre-release and I can evolve it, oh boy, that is going to be great. I will love it. So yeah, let's finish this video off. So of course we got the Gesta GX, the answer from our previous video. So I gave you that picture right there. What was that in particular? Well, it was Duskmane Necrozma GX. And this was the Black Star promo. And there it is. So if you did get that, well done. And speaking of getting it, let's have a look at the Gesta GX for this video. So we've got that picture there, that one right there, and that one right there. And yes, it is a GX. Might have to just think, maybe, I think it's one set back, but that's all the hints I'm going to give you. Maybe also the rarity, if you can see what that is. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this card, as well. Of course, we have to mention Honchkrow GX. Great GX. Came out of nowhere. I love how they just keep throwing these random GXs at us that we haven't seen anything before, like an EX or anything. It's great to see. It really, really is. So yeah, there we go. So I will leave it here for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video on the channel to check out another GX. So I'll see you then.